let's talk about how you can be successful with small lettering. I'm going to give you 4 very good tips that will make your small lettering look amazing on your projects. First tip is that you want to make sure that the font that you're using is designed for small lettering. It's digitized differently. So in Design Shop, you have a list of micro fonts, and those fonts are designed to sew out very small. You can look, every font in Design Shop has a minimum suggested height and a maximum suggested height. So look at that and make sure that whatever you're sewing, make sure the height of whatever you have typed in is within the limits of that particular font. That is a huge successful point when you're doing small lettering, is that that font is designed to be sewn very small. The second tip is that you make sure that the stitch length, if it's something you've typed in, make sure that the stitch length is at least 12 points. If that's confusing, I'm going to explain it how you measure it in Design Shop. You don't have to worry about understanding what it means, but I'm going to kind of give you a little scenario here. So here is a piece of tearaway, all right? So let's pretend this is a needle. So your needle goes into the product like this, all right? Then it goes to the other side and it puts another needle puncture on the other side. Well, here is where the thread is going to lay, right here, between those 2 needle punctures, right? So that distance has to be at least 12 points, because if you drop the needle and then you drop the needle almost in the same spot because there's not enough distance between the 2, then you just put a hole in the product and the thread doesn't even have a place to lay down. So it's just kind of a catastrophe. All right. That leads me to my next tip, which is needle size. So if you use a smaller needle, a 65-9 needle, well, you're going to put a smaller hole and then a smaller hole, and then you have room so that the thread can lay down. Now, if you have a big needle in the machine and then you put a big hole and then you put a big hole, of course, you just put a big hole. So there's no place for the thread to actually sit on the product. So a small needle is my third tip. 65-9 needle is going to be amazing for small lettering. My last tip, we don't think about thread as being thick, right? But when you're sewing little small lettering like this, when you put it that small and that close together, it can get a little bunchy, all right? So I'm going to kind of show you with this pipe cleaner right here. So if I have stitches that are very close together like this, then it gets a little bunchy, okay? So if you use a thinner thread, then it makes the lettering even clearer, all right? So what I did, so what I have here on the machine, this is a 40 weight thread. That's a very popular thread for our industry, 40 weight. And there's a big 40 on my Madeira spools. Madeira also offers a 60 weight thread, which is thinner than the 40. The higher the number, the thinner the thread. And they also offer a 75. So on your Madeira thread chart, if the color that you're looking for has a navy dot by it, then that means they offer it in the navy dot is the 60 weight. And if it has a yellow dot, that means they offer it in the 75 weight. So not every color comes in those weights, but look at the difference. This, I just sewed that out with a 60 weight thread. And look how amazing that looks. My E's are not closed up, my A's are not closed up. Now, here is same exact design, but a 40 weight thread. So they both look really good, very legible, but this may not work depending on the color of your design. Let's just say you're putting a dark green on a black jacket. So you wouldn't want it to be this thick because it wouldn't show up. You would want it to be a little cleaner like that. Those are my 4 tips. Number one, most important tip is that that design that you have chosen, those letters that you have chosen, they are digitized to be small letters because they are digitized very differently. That is tip number one, the most important one in my estimation. Number two, make sure that stitch length is at least 12 points across. I'm going to show you in Design Shop how to measure your stitch length. Now, if you measure your stitch length, you type it in, you love it, everything's great, you measure your stitch length and it's not quite 12 points, you can either make the letters a little bit bigger or you can add some pull percentage to widen the letter a little bit. So you can play around until you get to your 12 points. And I will explain all that at the end of the video. The third one is use a 65/9 small needle. And the last one is if you need to for that particular project, you absolutely can get a 60 weight thread or a 75 weight thread. And with those tips, you can have successful small lettering. Okay, so here is the font that I chose. It's one of the micro fonts, and I have it at 1/4 of an inch. And actually, this particular font says that its minimum is 0.30. So I pushed the limits just for the purposes of the video. I did not change any of the underlay settings. I did not change the pull percentage. Now, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and blow this up a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure to make sure that this stitch length right here is at least 12 points. So you're going to grab the ruler right here. You're going to click on one side of the stitch and then pull it over. And then right there, you'll see in the box, you want to make sure that in the parentheses that it at least says 12 points or higher. Now, if it does not, and you have to adjust, then what you can do is you can adjust your pull percentage. You can make this number go higher, and that will widen the area. Or what you can do is make your letters a little bit bigger, depending on the project that you're dealing with. Just make sure that you stay within the limits of the font. Whatever the rules are for that particular font, make sure that you stay within those rules. And that's how you can be successful with small lettering.